Welcome to this SchoolMessenger training video on the message sender. In this training video, you'll learn step 1 of the message sender. Go ahead and log into your account and then click the big red new broadcast button here on your dashboard. That will launch the message sender and take you to step 1. You will begin by creating a title or a subject for this broadcast. This is a required field. You must fill this out. You want to make this title or subject reflective of what your broadcast is about. You will be able to save every broadcast that you send in SchoolMessenger, and then in the future, if you need to send a similar broadcast, you can pull up a saved broadcast, edit it, and resend it. Like the example given of a PTA meeting reminder. If you have a regular PTA meeting, you make one reminder message and you can edit it and reuse it over and over again. So I'll type in a sample subject. There we go. So let's just make this test broadcast about class schedules. And you can see once I've got the subject typed into the field, the little orange asterisk has now become a little green check mark. That's what we want. Next, you'll choose the broadcast type. The broadcast type simply determines how the broadcast will be delivered once you send it. It tells the program which contact points to send your broadcast to based on which type you choose. The 3 default types are general, non-school hours emergency, and school hours emergency. General type broadcasts are for any broadcast that is not an emergency, like a class schedule reminder. And by default, any general type broadcast will be delivered to the first set of contact points, the first phone number, the first email address, and the first text number on file. The first set of contact points will be the main set of contact points. Those are the contact points that your recipients want to be contacted at most often. Their main or home phone number or cell number, their primary email address, and their main SMS or text number. The 2 emergency types, non-school hours emergency and school hours emergency. The difference between these, not so much whether the emergency happens during school hours or not. The main difference is, are there any students in school when the emergency happens? If not, it will be considered a non-school hours emergency. This is generally for a weather closing. In a best case scenario, your district will decide to cancel classes because of the weather early in the morning before any students arrive. And that's also during non-school hours. So that's the perfect example of a non-school hours emergency type broadcast. And this type is delivered, again, to the first set of contact points, phone, email, and text, and also to a second email address. School hours emergency is a big deal. This is a lockdown, a fire, natural disaster. Does not have to be a dire emergency. It may be just an unscheduled early dismissal. Anything that happens of an emergency nature while students are at school will be considered a school hours emergency type broadcast. And it does not have to be during school hours. It may be after hours at a football game or a band concert. And the school hours emergency type broadcast will deliver the broadcast to every contact point you have on file for every person that you choose to send this broadcast to. Every phone number, every email, and every text number on file will get this broadcast. This can be considered your all points bulletin. Now, you do not want to send an emergency type broadcast unless it is an actual emergency. So our class schedules broadcast obviously is a general type, so I'll choose that. Next, you're going to come down to the recipient section and begin creating your recipient lists. Now, in a previous training video, we learned how to create our lists using all of these tools. So I'm just going to make a quick custom rules list by selecting a field from this drop-down. I'm going to start with contact type, and I'm going to build a student list. So I'll check the student box, click Save, and that adds all the students. I'll click Add Recipients, and there's my list. Now, the list is not yet saved, but I don't need to save a list unless I want to. I can go ahead and send the broadcast, but any unsaved lists will be deleted when the broadcast is completed. So you can go ahead and save the list by clicking the cloud. I'm just going to name this list My Students, because your data view for your lists is building specific. That means you would only see the students in your own building. Same way with a staff list. If you are system administrator, you'll have a district-wide view of everyone. And again, refer to the previous training videos on building lists using custom rules in Part 1 and all the other list building features in Part 2. So I'm going to save that list by clicking the green Save Recipient List button. Notice the cloud's gone. That means the list is saved, and it lives right up here on my list page. So now I have a list, and I can continue with my broadcast. You cannot move past step 1 until you have at least one recipient in the recipient section. So here's your new list name. Here's the count, the total number of people on the list. And if you want to preview the list, you click the eyeball. If you'd like to remove the list, maybe you decided not to send it to all the students, you can click X. The X will remove the list from this one broadcast. If you have the list saved, remember you'll know that because the cloud disappears after you save the list. So clicking the X does not delete it. It just removes it from this one broadcast. And if you need to, you can go ahead and make a new list, or you can pull up a saved list from the saved recipient list selection under the Add Message Recipients dropdown. And when you click that, it's going to pull up a list of every list that you have saved in your own account. You can pick as many lists as you need. You just click on those lists and then click Add Recipients, and there they are. Don't forget that your lists are fueled by your student information system or your database. Whenever your data import comes into SchoolMessenger, whether it is an automated import or whether you do it manually, that new data syncs with SchoolMessenger and it updates all of your saved lists. So once you made a list using your list building tools, especially custom rules, that list can be saved and reused over and over again, day to day, semester to semester, even year to year, and it will always be as current as your last data import. Once your lists are set up, you're ready to go ahead and continue to step 2. That concludes the step 1 training video. Please view the step 2 training video in the SchoolMessenger Message Sender training video series. Thanks, and have a great day.